and welcome to Cherry Street Chat, the official podcast of the Seattle Spectator. My name is Caleb Stipkovits. I'm your host, and I'm here joined by Diego Gonzalez. Diego, can you introduce yourself?
Hello. My name is Diego Gonzalez. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a criminal justice major, second year. I grew up in Redmond, Washington.
Awesome. Well, for our second podcast of the year, we're going to be talking about student involvement. And honestly, I cannot think of a better person to talk to about student involvement than you, Diego, because you've been a part of 7 clubs total during your time at SU. You're currently part of 3. So can you first just tell me a little bit more about yourself? Like, who are you and kind of why you're involved on campus?
Yeah. So when I was part of high school, I was really involved. Really out of I think a need for service. I like giving back to the community.
Mm.
And so when I came to college, to Seattle University, I really wanted to continue that. And so me and my friend Jason, because we were first years, this fall quarter, we had no work, only U course. It was really easy. So we joined 7 clubs. Like every single day would be a different club. It was really nice.
Yeah.
We went to JSA, Remixed, Freeverse. It was really cool. And then after some time, schoolwork piles up. And so I kind of concentrated which ones I wanted to focus my energy on. So currently it's student government. I'm the vice president of academic affairs for CKI, which is basically the volunteer club, service club on campus. I'm the fundraising chair. And then for the Spectator, I do volunteer reporting. So I really do all of that kind of out of a need to give back to my community, to do service. So obviously that's what the service club's for. We do volunteering every Saturday or every other Saturday. For the Spectator, I like to inform the students about what's going on campus. And through student government, we act as the representatives and we advocate on behalf of the student body population.
Yeah. And I kind of want to go back a little bit to, you mentioned that you and your friend just started school by just going to a bunch of different clubs. I know for me, I kind of struggle to get involved on campus at first. So how were you able to do that? And do you think that having a friend with you kind of helped you to be able to go to a bunch of different clubs and try to meet people?
Oh yeah, definitely. So me and my friend Jason, we met during the orientation week. We really hit it off, and then I was like, "Hey, do you want to go to the volunteering club?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. Only if you go to me to the mixed student club, which is remixed." So it's kind of that's how we started off. We said, "Oh, that sounds nice," so we'd go to that. He's a writer, and I like writing too. So that's how we got to Freeverse, and a bunch of other clubs like that. Let's do the same way. JSA, he's Japanese, so then he's like, "Oh, I'll support you in the Japanese club."
Okay.
And so definitely having a friend made it a lot more fun, made it a lot more easier to get into the space. And then also when you meet people in those clubs, so I'll give an example JSA, right? The president of CKI right now, the volunteering club, her name's Casey. She was an officer for JSA. And so a lot of people are kind of connected in different clubs. In different clubs. And so that makes it easier even more. So then I would go to the volunteer club and JSA. She would be there too. You make a lot of friends that way.
Okay. Yeah. And then I guess I'm also just curious about, obviously you started by going to a bunch of different clubs, but you obviously had to weed some of them out and pick which ones you wanted to stick by. So what kind of made you interested in sticking by SGSU, Circle K, and the Spectator?
Well, I always try to do everything all the time. But then anyone who knows anything about student government knows it's a huge time commitment. And so then MECHA, I was also part of MECHA. MECHA meets I'll use JSA. JSA, they meet from I think 6 to 7 on Wednesdays. Student government meets from 6 to 8 on Wednesdays. And so it was just the unfortunate decision of student government. I feel I can help more people through student government. And then for MECHA, they meet on Mondays from 6 to 7, the exact same time Circle K meets. So it's I believe I can help the community better through Circle K. So kind of just the process of elimination of just conflicting schedules or like remixed. Like my friend Jason couldn't go because he got really busy. He's a STEM major, which is difficult.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, I'll also kind of like weighing off it a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, and then that's really interesting. Um, and so I guess you also just mentioned being in student government, SGSU, obviously a very big time commitment on your behalf. Can you describe a little bit about your role in SGSU?
Yeah. So I was the College Art and Science Senator. So just the representative for the College Art and Sciences students last year. Over the summer, I was promoted to the Vice President of Academic Affairs because there was an officer vacancy. And so now, as the VPAA, which is kind of like the shorthand for it, I'm in charge of appointing students to committees. And because students are really busy, I end up sitting on most of those committees, which is a big time commitment. So I sit on the faculty's governing body, which is the Academic Assembly. They meet for 2 hours on Mondays. And I sit on Staff Council, which is the staff's governing body, which meets for 2 hours on Wednesdays. For student government, we have our Senate assemblies, which are every single Wednesday. Everyone should go from 6 to 8. Then as an executive, we have office hours, where we're open to the student body population to come in, ask questions, and work with them. And that's, as an executive, 5 hours. And then I've sit on other committees time to time. And then I also chair, as the Vice President of Academic Affairs, the Academic Affairs Committee, which is comprised of all the college senators. So
Okay.
a lot of time.
Yeah, I know it sounds super busy. It sounds like a lot of time. And I guess one other thing I want to ask about SGSU is just kind of like what kind of resources does SGSU offer to students? Because I think, at least for me personally, like I don't always know what SGSU does, and I think that's something that I've noticed a lot of students also are like, what does SGSU do? Like, what can we get from them? So, what are some resources, and how can students access them?
Yeah. One of the main resources is just the people themselves. So like senators or execs, if you have any issues, any concerns, please email them. Please show up to the office hours. They will respond. Because then they'll put that into the programs they're going to be working on, or they'll bring it up to their deans. For me, I meet with Senior Vice Provost Tammy Herdener, and occasionally with the provost. So if someone brings up an issue to me and I feel like it's relevant to the work they're doing, I'll bring it up to them. The other thing is SGSU just really kind of voices or shares the resources that are already existing on the university. So for academics, that'd be like the second floor of the student center, with like the learning assistance programs, tutors, everything like that. For like the international senator, you have the Mosaic Center. So there's not SGSU doesn't provide resources in that sense, like a Mosaic or
Mm,
career engagement, but we represent the students and we connect people to resources.
okay, I see. Awesome. So the next thing that I want to ask about is kind of tying back to something that you said about like service and how you do a lot of where the reason that you were able to kind of find your niche in school was because you knew that you wanted to help with like service and to help as many people as possible. And so like that's pretty much one of your passions, right? And so how do you think like other students can find their passions and find what they care about and like translate that into how to become active on campus?
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Sorry
a
if
good
that's a
question.
really loaded question.
Yeah. How do people find their meaning?
Yeah.
Um. Hmm. I would think just try like everything. Go out
Hmm.
and if you have the time, go to the meetings of whatever kind of piques your interest. Um. Also, if you're like a journalism major, check out the Spectator. See if it
Nice
works for
plug.
you. I know. Um, if you're interested in like policy or advocacy, student government. Um, uh, so your major could help you, because there's a reason you chose your major. Hopefully, um, and that could help guide you to kind of like the clubs you want to be part of, or just choosing the clubs themselves. You can just say, I like that, I'll keep going, or I didn't like that, you know. Yeah, but I think it just takes a lot of kind of like self-reflecting, and just kind of knowing what you like. I'm very fortunate that
Mhm.
I kind of know what I like, and then I just focus on that.
Yeah. When did you kind of realize that like that was something that you were passionate about?
Definitely in high school as a first year. My sister's friend was the president of the Latino club, Latinos Unidos. And then she was like, Diego, come on, come to our meetings, to just boost the numbers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
um, and I was like, yeah, sure. So I went, and then she was graduating. My sister's friend was graduating, and so they need people for officer positions. I was like, I think I could improve this club. Um, so then I ran for treasurer because it was the only position running unopposed. So I took it as a first
Hmm.
year, and then I got promoted to VP, and then president for 2 years. And then from that, I just kept saying yes to a bunch of opportunities,
Yeah.
and I really liked doing it. So that one was definitely like I didn't know what I wanted to do. I got
Yeah.
into the club itself, and then it made me realize that I was passionate for it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, for me, it was also kind of similar. Like, I started doing journalism in high school. I really started when I was little because I would like write my own fake newspapers and then like distribute to like my mom and stuff and like my grandma and whatever. But for me, I also started in high school and like really thinking like, oh, this is something that I could do. And so once I went through high school and served as, an editor and editor in chief of my high school newspaper, I was like, this would be a great career for me going into kind of journalism field. Like this is something that I care about. So for me to get involved on campus, it took a little while. Like I said, I really did struggle to get involved at first. Like it was hard for me because I was like, I don't want to join the Spectator. Like, what am I gonna do? And then I did, and it ended up being a great opportunity. And it ended up being very beneficial because now I have a lot of content that I can show people who want to hire me after I graduate. So what I'm saying is I really do recommend like trying to get involved, trying to stick to what your passions are. I think that's, you know, from your story, it's also just like, yeah, like you can tell like you know what you liked and you were able to kind of go into it. So, but I guess one thing I do know is that sometimes there isn't a club for everything, right? There's not always going to be enough clubs. So, are there ways for students who might have their niche figured out, but there's not a club available? Is there a way for them to create their own club?
Yeah, what a good question, Caleb. Yeah, the Center for Student Involvement will always help you create a club. They're a really amazing organization. The director is Marissa. She's really passionate about helping out students. And you just have to find a president, uh, uh, officer slash financial officer slash treasurer, and a club event coordinator, and then that's enough to make a club. Um, you have to make like a constitution and things like that. There's like of course certain requirements,
Mm.
but definitely if you just get a group of friends who are passionate, are willing to put in the time and effort, you can make a club. It's pretty easy. That's why we have like I want to say like 180-ish clubs. I could
Wow.
be wrong. Someone fact check
180
me.
clubs. That's a lot. We will fact check
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
Um, so how does a club get funding then? Like like let's say you want to put on an event but you don't have money to start with it. How does that work?
I might not be the perfect person to ask.
Okay.
Even as the fundraising chair.
Even as the
So
fundraising
from
chair.
my perspective, it's fundraising.
Hmm.
You'll see that a lot on the second floor of the student center. That's always a hot spot. Student government would also provide some funding. I know the CFO is going to look at this. The SGSU CFO is going to look at this and be like, "Oh, Diego, no." But I believe,
Hmm.
again, fact check me.
Sure.
Um, you can submit like a funding request, but not for obviously like for everyday club meeting stuff, but for like if you're going to a conference or just like big kind of more events. So like the legacy cultural clubs always come to us every year for funding, and so we help support them to create their legacy events like Barrio,
Hmm.
Celebración, everything like that.
Yeah.
Um, but for the everyday clubs to get like general funding to just do normal event stuff, everyday club stuff, definitely just fundraising. Given my current limited knowledge, I believe.
Okay. Cool. Well, if you're interested in starting a club, then you have all the materials there that you need to get that started. Um, I'd be really interested to see. I know I've seen some really cool and obscure clubs like that. I'm like, wow, like who thought of that idea? Like, there's a pasta eating club. Shout out to whoever invented that because that's a really cool idea. And then like just like a bunch of other things that are super cool and like just looking at like as you mentioned the legacy events that certain clubs put on. There's so much cool stuff. Barrio's really fun. Um, I've heard a lot of other cool things. Like I think VSA does like the Turkey Bowl, which
Turkey Bowl,
we wrote
either.
about on the Spectator.
Yeah,
You should check out that article. It's also a really cool event.
yeah. Their
Um,
cultural event, legacy event's the Swan Festival at the end of the year.
oh,
It's
okay.
really nice. I went last year as a first year. I would go
Yeah,
again this year.
yeah, for sure. And then I'm curious if, I mean, I feel like I'll know your answer, but is it ever too late to get involved on clubs on campus?
Wow, what a nice easy answer. No, it's never too late. Um, I'd always recommend the earlier the better. Because then you just make more like memories, more cool experiences. But if you're a senior, this is your last year, you just want to have some fun, join a club. Clubs are fun. If you're a junior or a sophomore, again, join a club. First year, join a club. There's just a lot of fun. Also, obviously, they probably look good on your resume or on your college, your grad applications. So yeah, it's never, ever, ever too late to join a club.
Yeah, for sure. And if you don't like the club that you joined, then do you just keep trying or?
Yeah, well, yeah. It depends. Like when I was a part, I can say this because I became the president of the club. So when I was in high school and I was a part of the Latinos Unidos club, I didn't like it. Right, that's why I ran
Mm,
for the board. Is because like I could improve this club.
okay.
So you could do that if you find a club that you don't like, or you could create one. Um, if you like really like that niche, but there's already a club that's a part of it. Because of course they don't want like repeat clubs. They don't want like 5 Latino clubs or anything like that. Um, but if you're just still trying to find your passion, definitely try out different clubs. Again, there's so many clubs you will find one. You might find out that pasta eating is your passion,
Yeah.
or writing short stories is your passion. With Freeverse, educating the student body population, the Spectator. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of clubs to get involved with.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else you want to add about student involvement on campus?
I think student involvement is really important. Um, Obviously, if you're struggling in your classes and you need to be focused on your classes, I would not recommend dedicating, a bunch of time into clubs. Obviously, academics come first. As the vice president of academic affairs, that's what I support. Um, but clubs really do help you grow as a person.
Mm,
I was on this panel for this college thing, and that's what a bunch of students said. Like, hey, why should you go to college? The answer I heard from a bunch of college students across Washington was to grow as a person.
mm, yeah,
Um, and so one of the best ways to do that is through clubs. You'll make a lot of friends. You'll make a lot of memories. Um, and in theory, there's this theory called, I think, Aston's theory of involvement, that says there's a correlation between club involvement, or school involvement, and academics.
mm,
So I definitely think being a part of clubs made me grow not just as like a person, but also as a scholar, as a leader.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely join clubs.
for sure. Amazing. Well, now is time for our fun segment on Cherry Street Chat. So today we are going to be ranking college majors at Seattle University. So what we're going to do is I have my computer right here and we are going to look at this tier list. So there's going to be tiers of S, A, B, C, D, and F. And we're just going to put each major in which tier we think it belongs. So
Okay.
first, I feel like we have to maybe develop some guidelines on this, like what kind of constitutes as being like a bad major, like is it like the people, is it the professors, like what's a good major, like is it the people, the professors, or like
Uh,
how do we start with that?
That's hard because all majors are different. Is criminal justice one of the options?
Criminal justice
Okay,
is one of
put
the
that S
options
tier.
because you are.
Yes.
Okay, but why would you put it in S tier?
Because they're amazing faculty, amazing students. Oh my God! Shout out Dr. Book, Dr. Jordan Carpenini, and Dr. Rivera, all amazing professors.
Okay.
Who do a lot for the department.
Okay.
I'm kind of undereducated though on all the other departments, so I'll lean on you.
Just think of all the people that you know in each one. That's how I'm gonna do it. So
Okay.
like, let's go with like political science. All right, because I'm gonna be honest, and I'm saying this having a lot of friends in political science. I don't think I can put it above C tier. I'm sorry. I don't want to be a hater, but like, you know, like
we're
it's like
split.
what are okay? Because like what political science?
There's so many nice people in political science.
There
though.
is, but then it's also like what are you gonna do with that degree? Like I guess you could be a politician, or I guess that you could like I don't know, like
Work for nonprofits.
work for nonprofits, but you could do that with any other degree. Like it's just like to me, it just doesn't feel as practical, which is why I'm gonna say C tier. But I'll let you be the factor if we bump it up or down.
I'll bump it up to a B. I would
Bump it
put
up
it.
to B?
I would
Okay.
personally put it as an A, but you know, we're working together. It's collaboration.
Yes, this is true.
compromise.
Okay. What about math?
My heart goes out to all the math majors. That's tough.
That is a tough degree. I'm not very STEM oriented, so I definitely
Yeah.
feel bad.
I'm on the lower end for this one. I think
The
math.
lower end.
Like if you're
yeah.
in math, you're a trooper. I appreciate
Mhm.
you. We need math people, but I hate math.
Oh, 100%.
That's why I
Okay.
chose criminal justice.
What do we say, like D, or is that too
E.
low? I feel like that's mean, but
That's mean. Yeah, C. Just
Okay,
because
okay.
they're
We're being
hardworking
nice.
people. Yeah.
okay. All right. Let's see. Nursing. We have a really big nursing program.
Mm.
I'm gonna say this just because I feel like Seattle U has a very well-known nursing program. I feel like it should be S or A, just because, and like everybody I know in nursing is really nice,
Mhm.
you know. So I feel like good people, good program. I feel like pretty solid overall. But what do you think?
I'll put an S tier. I like Dean DeCastro, the nursing
Okay, see,
Dean.
he's got names.
Yeah, no, really nice guy. I remember I was talking to him about like student experience, and he's like, yeah, students should have fun while at college. I was like, real, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
I also have a friend in nursing, JJ, my brother's friend, really nice guy.
Shout out JJ. Awesome. All right, let's see. Our next one is economics.
I didn't even know that was a major.
It is yes. I know economics majors,
Okay.
and I love my friends that are economics majors.
Okay, we can put an A
But
tier.
like,
Oh.
you're also okay. Hear me out. All right, like you're studying something that isn't actually real? Question mark. If you think about it, like, yes, market trends, money. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know. For me, it's just like actually, I'm gonna say this. My economics professors would be really mad to watch this and hear me say that. Can we cut that out? You know, redo that part. Okay. All seriousness, economics, not bad of a degree, but I don't really have that much of like, I don't know. I don't want to put it super high because I'm not like super interested in it,
Mhm.
but I also don't want to put it super low because I feel like it's a safe career to go into, just because I feel like as long as the American system works, there's always going to be a need for that kind of work.
I'm fine with putting it C tier. I literally know
C tier?
nothing about economics, so we'll
Okay.
just put C tier.
We'll put it in C. All right, let's go with you know what? Let's go with environmental science just because I know that we have some producers on Cherry Street Chat that are environmental studies majors.
Mhm.
So I
Well-
want to know what you think about it. And then I'm going to just keep my eyes pointed to the reactions of our producers.
I could be incorrect. Again, fact check me, whoever is the editor on this.
Okay.
I believe environmental science and environmental studies are two different majors.
Yes, this is correct. That is my bad. I meant environmental studies.
Oh, okay. Environmental studies. Environmental studies is such a nice major. I have one of my friends, River, and I asked her why you choose environmental studies. She said because I like the environment. I want to help, but I just don't want to do the sciencey part. And I was like, I respect that. So I
Yeah.
hold environmental studies people in high regard.
Okay.
So I'll do an A tier because we need that. We need that
Okay.
right now.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to get fired, so we'll also put it. Okay, on this it says environmental science, but we're gonna say that it's environmental studies, because I know that's what our producers do. Okay, I say we pick a couple more and then we'll call it good, because I know we could go on and on, because there's like 44 majors on this list, but we can't hit them all. So, are we thinking, should we rank marketing communications, English, or history first?
Ooh, let's do history. I love history.
Okay, what do you think of history majors?
They're really nice.
Okay.
I don't know any students who are history majors, but I know like professors who are history majors,
I see.
and
Okay.
they're nice.
Really?
But yeah, what's your experience? What's your
I
experience?
mean, oh, okay, here's the thing. Okay, because I've had history professors, excuse me, that I've really enjoyed, and I've had history professors that I've really not enjoyed. And so for me, it's very hit or miss. But I also am a big fan of history, so I don't want to put it too low. I'd say like A or B for me. But what do you think?
Let's
Do you want to higher? Or do you want to lower?
we'll do B, just to
Okay.
keep A pristine. You know.
To keep it pristine, yes. A tier is for so I don't get fired. That's what it stands for. Um, let's do let's do you know what? Let's do marketing and communication, because that's technically the degree that I'm in, and I want to hear. I will not rank it, but I want to hear your opinion. You get to choose this whole entire one.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there is a right answer.
I know you.
Hmm.
Uh, and so I'm basing this kind of off the people I know, not really the major itself.
Sure.
Marketing communications. How hard is it?
I would say that for the most part, it's not the most difficult major. I think there are classes that are hard, like we have to take communication law, which is basically your First Amendment free speech rights, and you have to become a professional at that because you cannot mess that up, right? So that's a class that I would say is a little bit difficult. Um, I would say, depending on, yeah, I would say that I don't think it's like the coursework isn't super hard, but you need a lot of practical experience, is what I would say.
You know what? You know what?
Mm.
I'm gonna say as we go into an age of misinformation and disinformation,
Mm-hmm.
I say we need people like that. I
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
I say
There you
S
go.
tier.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. That is what I was looking for. All right. With that, I think we can conclude it. The best majors are marketing and communications slash law and criminal justice and nursing as well.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, that is our segment. And that means that there's only one more thing to do. So we have been doing, since our first episode, we've been doing a call off. Basically, what we do is we're just like, and from Cherry Street, wait, oh, what did we say? Give me a moment with the producers. It's with next time on Cherry Street chat. I need an earpiece. Our producer's going to come in and say, we're going to cut this part out. So that's been our episode. Thank you so much for joining Cherry Street Chat. Make sure that you're following us on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music, wherever you like to get your podcasts, no matter what, if you listen or you watch. Thank you so much for joining us. And 3, 2, 1.
See you next time on Cherry Street.